Hello and welcome back to the second David67 Celtic YouTube channel video of the day. For those who've not watched the first one, which was the Celtic men's match review of the game that they lost 2-0 to Hearts, do apologise as today do have a rather nasty dose of the flu, so a bit of a cough, a bit of a bunged up nose, sore ears, sore head, and feeling quite a bit under the weather. So I do apologise if there's occasional sniffing or coughing as we go through, and I do apologise if there's a wee bit of a hoarse voice as I go through as well. So this second video going to be a quick review of Celtic women's side 6-1 win against Partick Thistle. Very efficient, very confident win, and augurs very well for the split, which starts the week after next, after the cup game against Montrose. We'll be into the 6-6 split, and so we'll have a couple of vital games against Rangers, a couple of vital games against Glasgow City, plus a couple of games against Partick Thistle, Hearts and Hibs, as those are the three teams in 4th, 5th and 6th who will be also playing us home and away in the post-split area. Partick Thistle, Hibs and Hearts are all more than good enough to take points off the big three, and so I think this 6-1 win gives Celtic a lot of confidence going into the split. Elena Saduku changed things yet again. Does seem she's kind of settled on this 3-4-3 formation, which does use a lot of Celtic's best players in their best positions, does get the use of Paolo Partido bombing down the right wing, also adding a steeliness and tackling ability in midfield, does use the creativity and tackling ability of Natalie Ross as well to its best, and does use our four good quality attackers, Gallacher, Agnew, Flint and Lefersky, does use them to their best, with Tash Flint being a sort of target person, centre forward, dropping into midfield also to coordinate attacks, uses the pace of Agnew, Lefersky and Gallacher, and does also allow at time to time Agnew, Lefersky and Gallacher to drop into midfield to bolster the numbers if the other team is on the attack. Also does allow us to have our three top quality centre backs playing in a formation and setup that they enjoy. So a couple of changes this time around. Colette Kavanagh came into midfield. Lucy Ashworth Clifford came in on the left, and Murphy Agnew came in up front to replace Kit Lefersky. I thought the game went very well for Celtic. Amy Gallacher scored a hat-trick. Jenny Smith scored one. Murphy Agnew scored one. And there was a goal that's been given both as an own goal by one of the Partick Thistle defenders, but also was given as a goal to Tash Flint. Did look to me on first viewing live on TV that it was Tash Flint's goal, but subsequently many sources are giving it as an own goal by Lawton, one of the Partick Thistle defenders. Either way, it did mean that Celtic went into half-time 4-1 up. Celtic came out the traps, dominated the game, put a lot of pressure on Partick Thistle, and they made a couple of pretty catastrophic errors in defence, including one by the goalkeeper, who got dispossessed and allowed Celtic to score. Second goal, Murphy Agnew played with an awful lot of pace and very direct, and she was very pivotal to Celtic's good performance. Tash Flint did look a wee bit to me off colour. She gave away a needless penalty as well. She probably was overly physical with the much smaller Partick Thistle attacker defending a ball into the box. It possibly was a wee bit on the harsh side, but given the size differential between the two players, and that Tash Flint was guilty of obstruction at the very least. A penalty was probably soft and harsh, but not one to grumble over. Elena Sudoku took a lot of positives from the game, which is always a good sign. I think, again, we're keeping our best 16 players regularly playing. Sudoku is very good at rotating players, giving the core starts every week and rotating a few players such as Agnew, Kavanagh, Smith, Shen, the other Shen, etc. So that all the 16 players who will play game in, game out are getting game time every game. We do remain behind Rangers by 4 points, but in this circumstance, I think that's easily overtaken. Glasgow City do have the ability to draw and beat both Celtic and Rangers, and so Glasgow City might well get themselves back into the title race. Our goal difference is considerably better than Glasgow City's and a lot better than Rangers as well, which may be quite important at the end of the season. And the scenario is very similar to the situation at the split this time last year when Celtic, Rangers and Glasgow City all went into the split fixtures with a very good chance of winning the title. That time around, Glasgow City had a nice lead, which Celtic and Rangers managed to overhaul going into the last game of the season. And was it not for a rather controversial disallowed goal by Rangers in the last few seconds against Glasgow City, Celtic would have won the title. And it's the kind of refereeing mistake that ordinarily is overturned by VAR, but for one reason or another, despite how important the Celtic Hearts and Glasgow City Rangers matches were at the end of last season, and that both actually were covered by TV, neither game had VAR, and at this level, VAR is not part of Scottish women's football. I do think it might be a good idea for big decisive fixtures such as the last game of the season, which are both being covered by TV, or League Cup or Scottish Women's FA Cup finals, for VAR to be available to, in theory, avoid any controversies and refereeing accidental errors that might be pivotal to deciding the title or the cup going one way or the other. I think Celtic's best performers yesterday were Amy Gallacher, was quite impressed also with Murphy Agnew. She looked very busy, very quick, very creative, and also was nice to see Kit Lefersky back at her best, driving out defences. She didn't actually have a shot on goal herself, but she was involved in Celtic's last couple of goals that took it out to 6-1. The back three looked very assured, and as always, Caitlin Hayes, very impressive, pushing forward into midfield to distribute the ball, and all three centre-backs looked very assured in defence. Lucy Ashford-Clifford, Colette Kavanagh, probably just a wee bit disappointing on the day, and I really do always love watching Paolo Partido. A very wholehearted, enthusiastic player, a lot of pace, a lot of creativity, and when she gets a chance in the box is also good at finishing chances too. So I do hope that Celtic look at some way of keeping Paolo Partido at Celtic next season. She's currently on loan from Real Madrid, but I do wonder whether she may be happy coming to Celtic, as she has had a successful and happy season at our club. One of the difficulties is going to be keeping all our best players at the club next season. There has been talk of players such as Lefersky and Amy Gallacher moving on, which would be disappointing. And of course, Tash Flint is with us on loan from Liverpool. Whether this time around she'll be more keen to stay at Celtic at the end of her loan period is less certain, as she has found it very hard to get herself into the Liverpool team this season, which is why she's back on loan with us for the second part of this season. So I think we'll finish things off at that stage there. The girls' next match is against Montrose in the Cup at the weekend. Montrose are getting themselves back into good form. They had a very big win over Hamilton at the bottom of the table. It does look like Montrose are getting themselves out of the relegation worries, and they have got better and better this season. However, I think Celtic should be very confident of getting a win at the weekend in the quarterfinals, moving into the semi-final, and hopefully thereafter into the final. So we'll finish things off there for that wee review of the Celtic girls' 6-1 win over Partick Thistle. If you are new to the channel and you enjoy there being some form of Celtic women's team coverage amongst the Celtic fan sites, please do click that subscribe button. Very, very, very few of the other sites and YouTube channels even mention the women's side, and so I think it's an important thing to do as part of covering the club and also helping to expand women's football in Scotland, which I think is a very important and healthy thing to do. So if you've enjoyed the video, please click that like button, and as always, do feel free to pop your comments regarding the women's side, this video and future games into the comment section, and I'll do my best to reply. So just finishing off there in a croaky fashion. Thanks for watching and listening. Goodbye and hail, hail.